Hello and welcome back, fellow PowerShell engineers. Here today I am going to show you my latest Get Test module. It is a generic testing module that allows you to take practice exams on both with a GUI interface and directly in the command shell, so the PowerShell, if you will. So essentially what it is, you see the structure here. There's the module, the Get Test module, the PSM1, and then there's the GUI. You can import the Get Test module and then be able to use the Get Test. All you have to type is get-test, and it will start allowing you to take exams. But I want to go over the directory structure real quick. So you can literally do this very generically and add whatever tests you want. It's all based on what's inside of the test folder. So it is sort of limited because it requires you to have a category folder and then the test folder itself, then a JSON file that actually has the questions and the time limit in it. So if you look inside tests, for example, you see a couple categories here: AWS, CompTIA, insurance. That's just a test example I was playing around with right before this. And Microsoft. And if you look at CompTIA, for instance, we could go into Pentest Plus, then we see a JSON file there. And if we look at what one of these looks like, this is a Michigan life insurance one. I actually just kind of forked off of the Linux Plus one to see how it works. You see it's a really straightforward JSON file. A little bit of attributes at the top: the name of the exam, the question count, and the time limit. Then you go into your questions. They're all multiple choice questions. I'll say this test taker at this point does just do multiple choice, and then you have to put what the correct answer is of the options, right? It also does track the domain of the exam. So basically any practice exam you see is going to have different domains that, essentially categories of questions of things that you need to know. So it does allow you to track that too. That's kind of more a down the line thing. When we get into, I'd like to do a little more advanced grading at some point to be like, hey, this is the domain you need to work on. So Michigan life insurance practice exam, though, right here. Is just a test. Like I said, this is actually the Linux one, but that's just the structure of it. So let's go ahead. We're 2.5 minutes in. Let's see what it actually looks like. So we do get test. Let's just do the Microsoft one. I've got the AZ fundamentals there. And you select the category. Now we select the exam. Notice it does detect the time limit and the questions. And enter to go ahead and start. And I'm just going to answer these very quickly. You'll see it's the time is going down. It's not a live timer, but it is still tracking on the back end, which is very cool. See what percentage of these are the number one answer. About 5%. So you want to try better, 24 seconds. Pretty cool, though. It tracks your score, and you can literally use this to do whatever you'd like. So now you do need, we'll go ahead and quit. You do need to be also running the GUI app as administrator. So get GUI. We'll go ahead and run it. I'll note, too, that my execution policy is already set to unrestricted to be able to run this. None of these are signed. So that is something I did ahead of time. So again, we can load the same exams. Just click the exam category, or the category of the exam, and then the JSON file itself. It will load just a basic description here to go ahead and get started. You'll see that the console doesn't get hidden when you run the GUI either, which is okay. But we'll go through this. And when you actually click the answer, it moves you to the next question automatically. This does have a running timer in the GUI. So I already know number one, only 5%. So we'll see, going mostly number two. All right. Now it does pause at the end. I could go back if I needed to. We'll go ahead and click finish and we'll grade it. So 40% of the questions are B. So interesting, in 43 seconds. So it does grade it for you too. A nice little test taker. Again, you can do whatever you'd like. That's why I was kind of making a demo of insurance to be like, look, this doesn't have to be IT stuff. You could do, the NCLEX, the nursing exam. You could do whatever you want. And it's actually really nice because you can generate these questions. You can take that JSON format. It's really easy. You could generate your own questions using AI. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I've been doing that, because this may shock you, but I've not actually been writing all of these questions. I've been using AI to do it. So let's go ahead and shift gears and take a look at that. All right, so we are here at Claude. As you know, Claude has become one of my favorites. It built a really nice Windows Forms PowerShell Pokédex. As highlighted in one of my videos. To save a little time, I've already typed out the prompt, and I've browsed straight to the JSON file that I want to model it after. So essentially what I've done is I'm going to ask Claude to generate 20 questions for this FINRA Series 7 exam. That's a stockbrokers, like the standard stockbrokers exam. And it's going to generate that in the same format as the attached document. So I'm going to use a smaller one. I'm not going to use the full-blown 90 questions. I'm going to use the 20 questions, the topology questions that I put together for Network Plus as the model for that. So let's go ahead and do it. I did that by just using the attached icon there, and then we'll go ahead and press enter and watch it do its magic. Oh, and I just realized I don't have this quite all in the window there. So it's just making these through in the same format. If you look at the top, you see that Claude is smart enough to be able to detect the name that I would want it to be, the question count, and the time limit. And it's even doing the domain, securities products, investment banking. Very cool. This is a really cool idea to make free practice exams. This is really going to kill. You talk about, you've got accuracy issues, right? You've got hallucinations or whatever on these questions. We don't want to assume these are all 100% correct, but so you still want official sources. But man, I mean, this is stuff that people pay money for, and it's kind of why I'm open sourcing it, because I think we should have a free platform, and just to demonstrate how easy this is. So really, guys, that's about it for this video. There are definitely some limitations to it. I could have gone the route of having the code, having the questions embedded into the PowerShell module, and I think I do want to do that in the version of it I put in PS Gallery, because you could essentially fork this and make, an AWS only one, or a life insurance only one, or whatever test you want to make. You could make kind of a testing engine for it. And then also these JSON files, they could be appropriated for whatever. Somebody can make an Android app wrapper around this, or a web-based, just an HTML, JavaScript version of it that's just got this stuff loaded straight in the page. So let me know what you think. Follow me on GitHub if you haven't already. That's something I've been pushing a little bit more, to follow my projects. I've got the Ghost module, my disk cleaning script. This is kind of my third real project here in the last year, just to do something fun, but something that adds value for people. And again, I always like doing things in different languages. So you could see in the directory, this is really cool to generate tests in different languages. And I'll say too, which I don't think FINRA exams are in Spanish, but we'll just translate this to Spanish. This is how easy this is to do in AI, as you guys already all know. There you go. I mean, that's how I'm going through making some of those things now. It's so much more exciting to use AI tools for the language translation, just to break those barriers. So thanks so much, guys. Follow me on GitHub, like and subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you think of this module. Am I crazy? Is there an obviously better way to do this? I'd love to hear it. Thanks so much. Take care.